And we are live. Hello everyone, welcome to the Alien Spaceship stream. You could be watching from anywhere around the country or the world, and I really appreciate it. Coming to you from the Spaceship Studios from a galaxy far, far away. And I hope that everybody's been having a good evening, had a good day, and we're switching over to the other screen to continue the conversation. Let's go here. Alright. Okay. Alright, hello everybody. It is me, Alien Spaceship. Hello, Lori. Welcome to the stream, Lori and Rebecca. Hello to both of you. It's nice to see you all here. And so today was very interesting on my part, where we were watching the Adelson trial. Oh hello Doe. Yo, good to see you. All right. Yeah, so we're watching at the trial chat the Adelson trial. That was something very interesting to see today. Different witnesses. Another interesting day with that. They had one of the. Oh, hello, Abby. Hey, I'm on my night meds, but wanted to say good night. I love y'all and Alien, and hope y'all have a great stream. Thank you. Thank you, Abby. I appreciate it very much. Good night to you. Anybody doesn't hear me, let me know. It looks like the microphone is on. Everything looks like it should be working. I think, at least. Alright, let's go here. Okay. It looks like on my end everything should be working fine, but maybe I should talk a little bit louder. Maybe that would work. Alright, so hello everybody, welcome to the stream. And okay, Miranda can hear me. Okay, thanks, Miranda. Alright, Doe, everybody else could hear me. Okay, so Abby, good night to you. Thank you for the kind wishes. And good night to you, Abby. Thank you for the shout out. Alright. Alright, hello, Miranda. Hello, Lori. Hello, Doe. Everybody. Okay, so as I was saying, we were watching an interesting trial today with the Adelson trial, and the other ones. There's a Cardi B trial that I was seeing, and that one was very funny. It was very entertaining. It was, yeah, that was. It was like the judge was he's a very good judge, and her defense is extremely ridiculous to say. They want to get rid of all the witnesses, and the judge thought it was very laughable. And after the trial was over, they started fighting for like 15 minutes or so. Then Cardi B got in the stand. Oh, okay, Doe. It's happens to me with the microphone. It's sometimes I'll be watching a stream. One time I was watching a streamer talk about the Dolphine case upstate, and what happened was, it's like the Waltons tell each other goodnight. Yeah, there you go. And I had headphones from Temu, and they were very strange. It would be in another room, and they would activate and get this computer from another room to hook up to that by itself, and I was scared. Oh, the cat. Yeah, shout out to the cat. And what happened was they told us, I was saying it was mute, but it was actually my headphones switched to another headphones in the room. It was crazy. Yeah, my end looks like it's producing. It looks like my end, it is green. People should be seeing me perfectly fine. Now, so yeah, that was funny. And Cardi B was gone on the stand, and because there's like this civil case going on, and there's some she had blonde hair today. Yesterday she had some short black hair on the cat butt. And what we did was we were watching it, and then the attorney was asking, it may have been a prosecutor, my bad, was asking what hair did she have when this incident occurred when she got into a fight with another user. Oh, hello, Linda. It's great to see you. It's always a pleasure to have you on board. And then she was just like, she didn't really remember. And he was wondering, is it real or is it a wig? And she said it's a wig. And then they're saying like it was uh, irrelevant. That was so funny. Dude asked her if she's wearing a wig because she had all these different types of hair pieces on. And yeah, that was funny. And also he's like, and people were like, what kind of, how does that have to do with anything? And then also her nails, they showed her nails and was talking about her point of view. She wasn't drinking or on any kind of drugs, and she was just giving her testimony about it. And it looks like it seems to be a money grab of some kind, because she got into a fight with somebody, and they were just trying to see like who was guilty, who wasn't in the situation. And it's kind of like the Johnny Depp trial. It has a lot of funny moments in it. Then this other one, the Adelson trial, more serious with the murder case. This attractive lady, she was in prison the rest of her life for this murder. And when she was on the stand, was talking about how the defendant was involved in it, in her opinion, it was very interesting to see how she was being called out. So, yeah, that was an interesting rant for today. And, yeah, so it was interesting seeing both. And I saw some people that were at the other trial come over to the Cardi B trial. That was interesting because sometimes they don't go to different trials, but I've gotten a lot of interest in those trials, and then other people are curious about it. It's like watching a comedy movie. Like the YSL trial is like a comedy. Oh, thank you, Doe. So, that, and yeah, chat was on fire. It was hilarious. I saw Mikey B. Shout out to Mikey B. I haven't seen him in a while. Oh, hello, Kat. Welcome. Great to see you. All right, and now I'm going to do some of these updates, kind of give you a summary about the trial stuff I was seeing today. Oh, what I did was I put up one of the Halloween decorations because I like decorating for Halloween. That's one of my favorite holidays. And I have one up right now because I had it up most of the year, but then I took it down briefly. Then I'm putting them back up. But yeah, I had it most of the year. Like when it snowed here, there's this, people don't like clowns, but there's this clown one, and it had like a snow fro on its head. It was funny when it snowed because it had hair on it. It looked like the way the snow fell on its head. It was, I didn't expect that. And then the other decorations had snow because in the, yeah, scared. Yes, scared decorations, yeah. So that was very interesting with how when I was watching how snow falls in the different decorations. It doesn't really snow here that much ever, but on a rare occasion it can snow in the right circumstances. It started to snow more recently in the state, but it's not in the city since a long time. It was like it was 2008 or something. But it's starting to snow in the state more. It happens in January. That's when or December. January is the coldest month here. And it's also the darkest month. It's when the most likely chance of it occurring. And, you know, when it snows, it's like kind of like walking on a penguin. Because it's like you would just walk and you want to slip in every direction. And yeah, and I said, shout out to y'all for yesterday. Yesterday was quite interesting. We learned a lot of scary material. And then what we'll be doing now is giving a little bit update about these trials that I watch at Trial Chat group over there. All right, so putting this so people can see me a little bit better and putting this down here. All right, going to switch over to the other screen. All right. All right, shout out to the Spaceship Cats. Okay, and let's see the update for the Adelson trial right here. Yeah, I went outside today. It was nice, and I'm looking at flies differently now, Alien. Yeah, me too. Me too. I don't blame you. Yeah, definitely. Okay, and let's see here. Oh, I love the wallpaper or whatever you call it. Oh, thank you, thank you. Oh, the space cats. Yeah, yeah. It's a wallpaper for Chrome. Yeah, the spaceship cats. Yeah. Uh, for quite a while, they've been helping us run the spaceship. Yeah. Snowfro. Yeah. Oh yeah, I love snow too. And I figured out that you make a snowman after a day later when the snow is more easy to mold into something. Because I was doing it when it was snowing and it was just like sand, and I'm like, this is not working. But it was like the next day it was starting to crystallize more. Then that's when it's done. So like towards the end when the snow was melting away, I built a Timu Sheen snowman. It was a good snowman, but it was I could have used more snow if but I it was starting to melt a little bit. But I still made a cool snowman though. I made a couple of snowmen. I made like a small, like a nano snowman, and the different lands like that. Dwayne was there. He remembers that. That was like one of my fond memories of when it snowed here again. And hello there, Dwayne. Please hit the like button for our buddy Alien Spaceship. Please, thank you, chat. Yes, thank you, Dwayne. Probe that like button. And good evening to you, sir. Hope you and Sharon are doing well. All right, so some of the updates about today with the trial. I'm excited, even though it makes everyone mad here where I live. Oh yeah, yeah. You see, people didn't like snow where I am either, and people up north don't like snow. But yeah, people. Oh, down here, people love the snow when it snows here. It's like people take pictures in it and all. Like they appreciate it because it doesn't happen as often. But there's people up north that don't like it that were in it all the time. Now, yeah, I think snowing once a year or so is fine or more. I wouldn't mind, but it's I've got a tropical. It's like a forest. Like Lori, you know about the forests? It's like a forest and a swamp and like a beach in like one place at the same time because there's like palm trees and there's like forest trees and then there's like swamp trees like all in like the same area. It's like a really diverse zone. So y'all freak out over snow too. Yeah, awesome, awesome. Yeah, so with the trial, some updates about the trial I was watching today. A third day of testimony in the Donna Adelson murder and conspiracy trial kicked off today with another account of the weeks leading up to Dan Markle's execution style murder. Wendy Adelson's ex-boyfriend, Jeffrey. Oh, hello, Anna. Good to see you, Anna. Welcome to the chat. Doe said, I have good snow memories from when I lived further north as a kid. The drifts were as tall as me. Oh, yeah, the fond memories indeed. And although I lived down south, the way and the time I came up in 20 years ago, it snowed on Christmas Day. I remember I was at church and it snowed, and it was like a cliche Christmas in a good way. Yeah, it snowed, and then a couple years later, it snowed in Leavenworth, Washington. Yeah, Anna, it's about time that the alien cannot ignore Anna. That is a complete abomination right there. I need to get with the program. Yeah, so it's always great to see you, lovely Anna, Angel Cake, in chat. So, yeah, I remember when I was a kid, it snowed at Christmas, and then it snowed when I was in school in '08. And they took like the seniors and the principal, they took pictures, like a group picture in the snow, and we had a snowball fight. Eclectic, yes, yes. You're welcome, Anna. So yeah, So I remember snow throughout my growing up. Like it snows here sometimes, but every few years it snows. It was overdue to snow. It should have snowed in 2013, and it should have snowed in 2018. Those are two times it was supposed to snow here, or it may have been 2019, but the conditions weren't exactly right. Hello there. I live in Michigan, so snow is our fun time. Ah, yes. Oh yeah, yeah, definitely. It's far up north where they are. Now, where I was, uh, yeah, throughout it snowed the most this time. It was like the North Pole. As I remember, they were saying it was historic, and the things I was reading about it, I'm like, it's going to be buried in snow, and it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be, but it was quite deep. Because I mean, if a crazy snowstorm happens, it's like it's going to be up to halfway to the door. But it was nothing like that ever. But yeah, it was a little bit, a couple of inches. It was quite a few inches. I know it was more. It was a couple. It was like a foot or two. It was up to my knee. In some parts, like when I was walking around the yard, like it was up to my knee. I was like, y'all see this? Like in the chat, I was like, look at this. It was all the way up to my knee. I was like, wow. Scared. Lori said, yeah, we have to get snow in the Cascade Mountains and the foothills before we get it in the Willamette Valley floor 400. My son was born during a big freeze in England 2010. Ah, okay. Okay. Nice. Now, in 2013, there is a very interesting wonder. It was a swamp wonderland of winter. It was not a snowland, but it was lots of icicles everywhere. And there was small patches of snow. And I like to collect war stuff and different things from history, and I have this Russian pin thing. And since it snows there, I took a picture of it in the little tiny crease of snow right there, and it was interesting. It was like, oh, a little snow right there. So yeah, I noticed that it did, like, some of the snow stayed. So my theory is that every year it does have 0.1% of snow, but the conditions are usually not right for it to snow like like a winter wonderland. Because there's little, like like in the corner of a piece of wood in the ground, right? There's like snow there, or in the crease of a car window, you'll see snow, little bits, and little spots. And I realized throughout the years it was tiny bits of it. Like last year, the year before, it was a little bit of, and I saw on my app, the weather app on the iPhone, that it was snowing, but it wasn't enough for it to stick. Just in certain spots. That's something that I discovered over time, and I have the photo evidence to prove it. What I'm talking about. So, but it's nothing significant like it was last year. Or actually earlier this year, in January. Anna says, had little snow here where I was in 7th grade, and school let us out all to see. It was pretty profound for South Florida. Oh, hello, Kay. Good to see you, buddy. Wayne said, yes, we love it. We go up north to the cabin. We live in downtown Detroit. We get our fair share in the city, but up north it gets 12 or more, and my G-boys love the snowmobiles. Oh, yeah, the snowmobiles. I remember snowmobiles from Inception, that movie from 2010. And that actually would be a good thing to have in storage where I am whenever it does snow. Because I always told myself it would be good to have snow devices here that can handle snow situations. And because it does snow very rarely. But yeah, it's cool that y'all have the snowmobiles up there. Man, when I was growing up, the bus would go to the gravel road through the snow. Now they dismiss school for a dusting. Ah, oh wow, yeah, yeah. That's wild. Doe, Lori. It was wild. Never happened again, to my knowledge. They shut down Eugene Springfield over a few inches too. My school shut down when it snowed this time, but last time in '08 they didn't shut down. It was after, like, it was this time they shut down, but yeah, just people weren't really prepared to drive in it. Oh, interesting, Kay. You were dreaming about snow last night. Oh, interesting. Dwayne says, I remember your video when it snowed down there. Sharon said that young man would marvel at the snow in Michigan. Yeah, I would, and I certainly will look forward to seeing that one day up there. Yeah, and yeah, I'm glad that you were there. It was a very in the snow video. Yeah, that was very cool. That was very cool, and I had the chat with me and going to my snow wonderland. It looked beautiful. It looked beautiful. It looked like something. You see, the way I have the yard designed is kind of like a forest or like a jungle kind of fairy tale looking place. The way the different trees and stuff are, because I planted those trees. It used to be like a barren land, but I planted the trees there that grew there naturally, and I just cultivated them and allowed them to keep going. And yeah, when it was snowing, it was like, wow. It was, you see the little areas and the different things sickling down. It was very cool. And I would marvel at up north in Michigan what it would be like too. Yes, absolutely. Well, hello, Liberty. It's great to see you. Welcome to the chat. It was nice seeing you, Liberty, earlier at the trial. And I thought the testimonies today were very interesting. Like, I was seeing the part where the girl, no, not the girl, the lady, I don't remember her name. She was testifying. Yeah, that was, I was wild. I was wild. And the chat was interesting too, because it's like you see like justice unfold. That's like what basically you see. And Lori says, "I love that alien." Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And I remember the palm tree was very cool. The palm tree was fine when it snowed. That's wild. Like the palm tree was just chilling. Oh yeah, I will do a phone live of the garden and the yard. Yes, I've not done that in a while. I think we need to do that at some point. Yeah, I want to show Lori the yard. Yeah, we'll certainly do that. Now, with the situation with the trial that we were talking about earlier, is Wendy Adelson's ex-boyfriend Jeffrey Lacose took to the witness. Oh, Dwayne said, "Okay, young folks, this 105-year-old grandpa has to get back to the movie we're watching. I had to pop in to say hello, hit the like button. Take care, everyone. Oh, take care, Dwayne. Y'all enjoy the movie." I just heard Cracker Barrel caved and is keeping the old sign. Oh, oh, that's interesting. Part of your show on Halloween and show us your yard decorated. Oh yes, Anna, absolutely, I will. Will do. Wendy Adelson's ex-boyfriend. People grow plantain banana here, and the leaves are gorgeous, but sadly they die when it gets cold. Oh, Lori, the same thing down here where I am. That when it gets cold down here. Like I had these beautiful pepper plants, and oh, E-Frog, hey buddy, good to see you. It's been a while since I've seen you here, and I'm having a good day. I had a good day watching the trials, and I got a nice walk outside today, and I'm going to do one later this evening, later tonight, and I had a good time with my chat friends. So, and seeing like little, hanging out with my cat. So it was a pretty cool day today. Hope you're doing well, E-Frog. So, yeah, old-fashioned signs. Yeah, so, yeah, Lori, I have these beautiful pepper plants, and I wasn't able to put them in the regular storage room because of cat was going to go in there, and I will put them in another storage area, but I took the plants out too soon, and they went into shock. But the beautiful pepper plants, all these plants will die in the winter. Now, the elephant ear plants that I have come back after in winter. They some of the plants will come back, but yeah, now mint does fine in the cold. It seems to do pretty well. But yes, it happens down here too. They'll die in the freeze. Yes, that's true, Evrog. Yeah. Yeah, perfect day indeed. Yeah. And in this case, it was Wendy Adelson's ex-boyfriend, Jeffrey Lacose, testified to the witness stand for a fourth time, telling the jury about time dating Donna's daughter in 2013 and 14. This belief may be framed for Markle's deletion. Peppers and basil love the heat. Elephant ears are rad. Oh, yeah. Now, Lori, I grew these elephant ear plants that were growing nearly up to the house, like over the house. And a hurricane came through and weakened them, and then a drought happened, and they've recovered because it's rained and the drought is over with. But yeah, it's not like this as big as they were before, because it was a time period, a rare time period. A couple of weeks, a couple of years, the winters here were very moderate, and they weren't really that cold. And those elephant ear plants getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And then the hurricane weakened it, and then the winter naturally will cause them to go back down. They come back up. But yeah, it was the biggest they ever gotten. So this one group of elephant ear plants, the year I was graduating school in 2017. No. Yeah. I get my years mixed up. Yeah, 17 is correct. Next door, my grandma had these elephant ear plants. She was ripping out the ground because she didn't want them there because it was getting in the way of something. And two of them were there, kind of in not the best shape. And I put them in water, and I brought them into my yard. And then I put them in the ground, and they had all these descendants ever since then that made this very nice patch. And I'm glad I saved those two plants. And ever since then, every year they produce nice elephant ears. Then this other group I brought over just because I want to put them in the yard. And in the year 20. It was before it may have been 19, something like that. It was, I think, something like that. It was either 20 or 19. I brought this one or two of them, and they made another group. So that's a third group. Then I made a pathway, so there's a middle group in the other part of the yard. So there's a little cluster of these, a big cluster of these different plants from different times I put them there. And there's another group on the side where I threw some of the bulbs in this marsh part, and then they start sprouting. Because you could just put water in it, and it starts growing. Yeah, so that's like one of the ornamental plants that are there. Nori said, I cut off my basil right before it gets cold. Melt coconut oil and throw the basil in freezer. And freeze in the ice cube trays for cooking. Oh, Lori, that's delicious. That's delicious. Very good. Lori said, such a cool story, Alien. I love saving plants and helping them grow. Yeah. Halloween candles out in grocery store already. Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. Right, Lori, can put fresh herbs in ice cube trays with water. I have a nice rosemary plant. Dylan dog nibbles on it. All right. Me too, though. Even Trump had something to say about it. Oh, I hear you, Liberty. And okay, so in this situation, I got this other plant that's called giant ragweed. It's very, very big. It's huge. And they're cousins of sunflowers. And they make a good hedge, and they're good for, ornamental purposes. The indigenous Native American people, they cultivated it in the pre-Columbian times, like when that fly we were talking about yesterday was incognito on an island somewhere on Devil's Island, just being devilish by itself. It was they used it for like corn or like type stuff. They not corn. They used it for making wheat and making bread and things like that. Because I could tell the way it was looked. It had to be cultivated by humans. It wasn't a wild plant. It had to be because the stalks are very big and strong. And here's a joke of thick and girthy. Little joke right there for y'all. And but anyway, it was these. They had to be cultivated by people at some point. So I looked it up and it was thousands of years ago. So yeah, that's another plant that I have. And there's two trees. You know, one of them is yellow in the fall, and it turns red and orange and purple. And I have grown sunflowers. I grew sunflowers this, not this year, but last year I grew them. And they grow very big. They're very huge. And the year before, now a couple years before, I grew them very, very big. It was like in 20. And I grew them last year too. But I do crop rotations. Lori said, "Oh, I grew mammoth sunflowers and used dried stalks as supports for other plants the next season." Oh, yes, yes, yes. And I do that too. It's a good support. These stalks, another thing that I do is that bring it inside or bring it in an enclosed area and let it dry out, and it's hard as a brick. You know, it's hard as a brick. And it has a nice toned reddish color to it. And it can be used for stakes, for all kinds of things. Now, if it's left outside forever, it'll eventually disintegrate naturally. But yeah, they serve some pretty cool purposes. And then you have these two trees that change colors. It was originated from China. The colonists, as I said to you all the other night on SNS, said on the other channel that it was an ornamental plant. That one, two of them are in the yard right now. Oh, I grow mammoth sunflowers and I use dried stalks and saw sunflowers growing up over people's 6-foot fences. Beautiful. Yeah. Yeah, they definitely have beautiful undulating colors. And then you have these, as I said, they have raccoons, possums, and yeah, the cats, you know, just hanging out. Yeah, so those are some of the different plants that I have. And I've grown corn and tomatoes and turnips and stuff like that too. Now, in this case, the Lakose, who had been a Florida State Associate Professor since 2013 and said Wendy's bitter divorce and custody dispute was a constant topic of conversation. She has hated Tallahassee. It was almost a daily topic of conversation, he said. Chief Assistant State Attorney Georgia Kappelman began to ask Lakose about his interaction with Wendy's family. They do good in Florida. Yeah, I would think they would. Indigenous Native American people, I think, would smoke the leaves. That was something I learned about. They would dry it and smoke it. I read somewhere. You know, also it's oil. The sunflowers is a vegetable oil. Lakose testified that he could tell Adelson were a family without boundaries, and he interacted with Donna 6 or 7 times, but mostly just small talk. He recalled a trip to South Florida to enjoy a dinner with Wendy's brother, Charlie Adelson, and his then GF, Catherine Magbanua. Both of them are now convicted of the plot to delete Markle. Charlie did not like Danny. That might be understanding it, Lakose said. And he also recalled a conversation in Charlie's hot tub later that evening that stood out. One of the facts is that Charlie knew people on both sides of the tracks, Lakose recalled. He said that he knew dentists and doctors, Likose recalled, but also had social contacts that were in criminal elements. He was kind of bragging. Lori said, I sometimes roast the flowers in oven just before seeds harden on the plant. Oh yes, I've heard about that. And I heard it's very good too. Interesting taste, really good for you. Oh yeah, yeah, absolutely. I've heard about that. That's really tasty. You have to try that at some point. And sunflowers are seeds are very good for you. Yeah, that was her. The lady I was telling you about that was uh, arrested. She's in jail for life for murder. Scared. Can I tell you something confidently? He recalled Wendy asking. And later in the summer, my brother looked at all the opinions possible to take care of the Markle problem, including hiring a hitman, and it was cost about 15 grand. He recalled. Kappelman asked if this was the same joke Charlie had made about buying a TV, as a divorce persists since it was a chapter in hiring a hitman. This was not a joke, he said. This I found chilling. I found disturbing. It made my stomach flip. It kind of took me back. She was deleted serious, dead serious when she said this. Akose also outlined moments he believed showed Wendy was trying to frame him. Even as relationships seemed distant destined for failure, he called a conversation with Wendy about his plans for that upcoming Friday, July 18. I was confused why at the moment she wanted to know the details, he said. We now know that Dan Marco was murdered on Friday, Chaplin said. And he said that he had plans to drive Atlanta that morning, which would have been consistent with how the deleter killer fled town, as Kappelman put it. It kind of gave me the creeps, he said. He also noted he had plans to travel that route the same morning in June 2014 that the hitmen arrived in Tallahassee during the first attempt to delete Markle. The jury heard from another ex at the time, Charlie's ex-girlfriend, on June Apachidia. All right, and so this is a murder trial that I'm reviewing that is ongoing, by the way. Like Lakese Umchata has testified in the previous three trials that she dated Charlie from 2015 to 2017, the time period when the investigation into the Adelsons really ramped up. Most of her testimony touched on how Charlie's attitude changed once a law enforcement officer distinguished a gang member approached on the street to get Adelson talking in 2016. Our whole relationship just took a turn, she said. She and Charlie would sometimes act like a crazy person. Umchata recalled a movement of Donna Adelson's home. The investigation was intensifying, and she recalled Donna telling her that her life was crumbling down and her family's life, everything like Dan, was haunting her from the grave. Defense attorney Jackie Fulford pushed back with the retelling nothing. Umchata used different language during the 2022 trial in Magbuna. Umchata said, and she didn't remember her specific phrasing during the trial. Now, speaking of sunflowers, I've had sunflowers that were smaller, that were yellow, had sunflowers that were red and orange, and the big yellow ones. There's all kinds of different variations of them. The final witness of the morning was Patrick Fitzgerald, a close friend of Charlie around the same time. During cross examination, he argued with Fulford when she asked if Donna had been very nice to him. The jury took an early lunch with investigators Mary Hull on the stand before afternoon, and that is a little update about some of the trial that I saw today. And let's see. With the sunflower, I want to see about the different species about them. So that was an update about one of the trials I was seeing today. All right, so right, and here's for instance, we have the sunflower that's red, and Lori said, "Cool, alien. I'm amazed by how many species of honeybees love them." Yes, absolutely. Yeah, shout out to the honeybees. And yes, red sunflowers are real and come in many varieties, offering a dramatic alternative to the classic yellow sunflower. The future of deep red, burgundy, and even multi-tone petals, and the popular cut flower arrangement and garden bonders. Oh yes, absolutely, yes. The red sun is a very tall, produces 5 to 6 inch blooms with deep red orange petals, a dark center. It's a long blooming cultivar that is excellent for the cut flower arrangements and background platings. Ruby Eclipse. This variety has a stunning ruby red petals and dark center on the plants that can grow up to 5 feet tall. It is favorite among the pollinators. Chinati, known for its deep wine red velvet petals that may be flecked with gold, this variety grows on multiple branched purple steamed plants. Chinati is also pollenless, making it an excellent cut flower. Drop Dead Red, a branching variety that produces numerous long lasting flowers in a mix of shades, including deep burgundy red and orange red. Desire Red Hybrid, a dwarf variety that grows 24 to 30 inches tall, making it suitable for containers and small gardens. Its wine red petals surrounded a deep burgundy center. Mexican sunflower, not a true Helenthus sunflower. This plant is known as a red sunflower. It is native to North America. It produces brilliant orange red flowers and attracts monarch butterflies. Those monarch butterflies are beautiful. There is actually something that I saw that I thought was a monarch butterfly, but it didn't really look right. But it was a type of moth that looked just like it. The monarch butterfly is my favorite one. Planting. I have a mammoth, and that must be 10 feet tall, but dinky flowers. Maybe it's an alien sunflower. Scared. Yeah, it's certainly an alien sunflower, and it is a Nephilim sunflower, the giants from the Bible. They're created by alien human hybrids. Planting. Sow seeds directly in the ground after the last spring frost. Choose a spot with at least 6 to 8 hours of direct sunlight. Well draining soil. Watering. Water consistently, but avoid waterlog once established. Water deeply, but infrequently. Feeding. Sunflowers are not heavy feeders. Amending the soil with compost is usually sufficient, though a slow release fertilizer can be added at planting. Support taller varieties may require staking to prevent them from toppling over in the strong winds. Where he said monarch larvae only eat the milkweed plant. I managed them at our community college years ago. Very cool. Oh, I didn't know that. That's very nice. Very nice. Encourage blooming. The deadhead spent flowers to encourage the plant to produce more blooms. Meaning and symbolism. While yellow sunflowers typically symbolize happiness, adoration, red sunflowers hold unique symbolism. They represent hope, power, bravery, and self-assurance. Their dramatic color adds to the burst of energy to the banquets and arrangements, conveying powerful and uplifting message. Let's see about the giant ragweed. All right, this is the giant ragweed. Giant ragweed is a tall, aggressive, and highly allergic annual weed native to North America. It is a major cause of late season hay fever and can significantly reduce crop yields due to its rapid growth and competitive nature. That is true, it is very competitive. Size and structure. This erect summer annual can grow from 3 to over 16 feet tall, featuring branching stems that are hairy and rough to touch. Leaves are opposite the stem and have coarse, rough texture. They are usually deeply divided into three, sometimes five. Oh, you're welcome, Lori. And they have shredded or tooth edges. First pair to true leaves may be unlobed, and lantern shaped. Flowers. The plant produces a separate male and female flowers on the same plant. The inconspicuous greenish yellow male flowers form in dense terminal spikes in the end of the stems and branches. Female flowers are clustered in the leaf axis below the male flower spikes. I've seen that before. I will look that up, Anna. I'll look it up. And leaves. Okay, it's talking about the flowers. And below the male, in the flowers, late summer, fall, roughly July or October. Fruit and seeds. I didn't know that. Each female flower produces a single-seeded woody fruit, escade in a crown-shaped husk with ridges in the central beak. I didn't know it was a fruit. Regional names: it is known as names as great ragweed, buffalo weed, and kinghead and horseweed. That's okay, Kay. Anna, I will look that up. We'll look it up. Fields and floodplains in the locations. Roadsides. Okay, giant ragweed thrives in distributed and rich moist soils. Common locations include fields and floodplains, roadsides and railroads, pastures and fence rows, riverbanks and ditches. And it could cause some allergic reactions in some people. Late summer and fall allergies. And people see it as a weed, but I see it as a very beautiful plant that I like growing. Well, I don't like it. It just grows on its own. Kay, that is true. That is true, Kay. Lori said most weeds are medical. Ah, yes, yes. And I'm going to answer your question in a moment. And it's because I saw the way that the plant looked, it had to be something medical. Yes, the giant ragweed was cultivated by Native Americans in prehistoric times. It was an important food crop, primarily grown for its large, nutritious seeds. Large seeds. Evidence of prehistoric cultivation. Archaeologists have found seeds of giant ragweed in ancient settlements sites that are 4 to 5 times larger than those in a present day wild variety. This indicates a selective breeding by Native Americans to improve their food source. And I, like, 10 years ago, I brought them over from another property my family has, and the big ones have been reproducing with each other over and over again. So I'm domesticating it in a way. High nutritious value. The seeds of giant ragweed are very nutritious, with high content of rich protein and fat. I didn't know that. These would have been valuable food source, especially during winter. Well, that's, yeah, hilarious. Yes. Okay, with sunflowers, be clear. I've seen the sunflower. It usually follows the sun. It faces the sun. Part of the eastern agricultural complex, giant ragweed is thought to have been one of the species domesticated as an oily seed crop in early 1200 BCE as part of a group of plants known as Eastern Agricultural Complex. Transition into a weed. The cultivation of giant ragweed declined and was largely replaced by cultivation of corn. It's kind of like corn. That's why I mentioned corn earlier, I guess. With introduction from the south. Maize provides more calories and easier to produce as it does not require dehuling. Once cultivated, stopped giant ragweed reverted to its natural wild form and is now considered an invasive, troublesome weed modern agriculture. So I've brought it back to being a plant that's used for ornamental purposes. I knew it had to be used for something. It was too large, and it had to be used. It could be used for steaks. It looked kind of like a sunflower. It's related to the sunflower, by the way. Besides being a food source, they also used it for other purposes. They used it for medical. It was used to treat various ailments, including insect stings, fever, pneumonia, ammonia, and diarrhea. Some tribes, such as the Cherokee, used it as ceremonial practices. The strong stems provide use and make thread and cordage. Yes, Kay, I've heard that. Yes. Beans was telling me about that. All right, going to go to Anna's question. All right, no. Smoking sunflower leaves does not cause hallucinations, but it can cause allergic reactions and is not safe to ingest. Sunflower leaves and other parts of the plant contain chemicals called sequesterpenane lactones that can cause skin irritation and prone to contact reactions and ingestions. Toxicity. Sunflower leaves are not meant for human consumption and smoking or ingestion. They can lead to bad reaction, allergic reaction. The chemicals in the leaves can cause skin allergies, other aversion. No mind-altering effects. There is no evidence that suggests that smoking the sunflower leaves produce any faux active or hallucinogenic effects. Hallucinations are linked to other specific plants, such as certain strains of cannabis and datria. Datria is a species that is poisonous and has psychoactive effects. Okay, I read somewhere that the indigenous people at some point did smoke it, but I don't know if that's true or not. It was allegedly. No, Anna, they may have smoked it in the past, and a long time ago. They don't do that now. That is something that I read somewhere. Allegedly, that they did, because the people that were smoking it, they would have had an immunity to it, or whatever they were doing. Yeah, Lori. I don't recommend doing it. It could cause an allergic reaction, but allegedly they did do it in the past. It's also cool how fungal mycelium in forest soil serves as a communication pathway between trees. Oh, that is cool. That reminds me of like the the Celtic mythology and Norse mythology. Now, the Google AI says no, Native Americans did not smoke sunflower leaves, which can be toxic if ingested. They used the plant extensively for food, oil, medicine, and dye, and incorporated it into some ceremonies. So what they're doing is they may have used it in some of the ceremony rituals. They're saying, however, plants smoked for spiritual and ceremonial purposes were specific types of tobacco and other herbs. Mycelium. Okay, thank you. You're welcome. All right, let's see. Here we go. Surprising uses of sunflower leaves. Okay, they use the seeds for food. This is something AI kind of got wrong right here. Maybe. And this is from the old Farmer's Almanac. They use seeds for food, growing them into meal and flour. They used oil for cooking and a salve to soften leather, and hair conditioners, and stems to provide fiber making ropes, and leaves were smoked like tobacco. So this source says the Native Americans did smoke it like tobacco. So maybe they did, maybe they didn't. Maybe some did, some didn't. As it looks kind of like a leaf that could have been used for that. You're welcome. Exactly, Lori. Right. Various tribes use different parts of the sunflower plant for a wide range of medical purposes, relying on its properties as diuretic and exo expectorant and anti-inflammatory agents. Oh, hello, Dur. Great to see you. Great plant for propagating. Yes, yes. All right. So they a wide range of medical purposes relied its properties for diarrheic, utilizing the leaves, flowers, and roots and seeds. Dakota, the Teton Dakota tribe boiled sunflowers flower heads to create a remedy for pulmonary and chest troubles. The Lakota also boiled the seeds for medical oil. Other tribes, infusion made from sunflower leaves or flowers were generally used to treat lung problems, fevers, coughs, and whooping cough. Cock, Cockchiti. Among the Cockchiti people, the fresh juice from crushed sunflower stems was a trusted remedy for treating cuts and wounds, and the juice would dry from the dressing and help prevent infections. I One plant puts out lots of seeds, although I'm not sure how many. We can find that out. Aches, pains, and fevers. Paiute tribe prepared decoration from sunflower roots and treat rehemet hematism. I don't know what that is. Other tribes' infusions of leaves and flowers were widely used as fib- feb- febrifungi to reduce fever and alleviate general aches. Leaves that could be blanched and used as a warm or cool compressor for headaches. Yeah, you see a lot of these old remedies are very cool. How they use these old remedies for different things. Let's see. Okay, and I'm still here. I'm looking up another flower I want to show y'all. All right. Well, I have taken my sunflowers for granted. I might fight the squirrels from them this fall. Infusions in leaves and flowers are widely used and confirms for headaches. I'll get to that in a moment, Liberty. All right. The Pawnee woman reportedly it was in Liberty. It was very interesting today. She was on the stand, and then there was a lot of fighting that was happening. And the judge is very cool, and he wasn't putting up the nonsense that was going on. I was just in just a one second. I got you. Panway woman reportedly took a medicine derived from sunflower seeds to protect nursing children from getting sick. A Cherokee. The Cherokee made an infusion from sunflower leaves to treat kidney problems. Other tribes, sunflower preparations also were used to treat stomach problems, diarrhea, and stimulate appetite. All right. So, going here to this other page, the Cardi B trial. I use I use lots of herbs and essential oils, but had no idea about sunflowers. Well, I'm glad that we you learned something new. Okay, Liberty, here's the information. As of late August 2025, Cardi B is facing two major civil lawsuits. One from a security guard over an alleged assault at a OB gym office in 2018. It was an office for us, certain body parts, and she got into a fight. And she was on the stand today. She was very cool. She was relaxed. But she was funny the way she was just, like, bluntly saying stuff. It was quite hilarious. Now, and Lori, did you know that sunflower oil could hypothetically be transformed through a scientific process into a car or like fuel oil for like a vehicle or for some sort of machine? But it doesn't last that long. The oil, it doesn't last that long. It would need to be modified. But sunflower seeds can be turned into machine oil, hypothetically. It's still being tested, of course. That was Kat that said it's a Learning Channel. Security guard assault and trial in 2018 incident. 2018 incident. A civil trial is beginning in Los Angeles late August 2025, and is dispute over an alleged physical altercation. The security guards claims Emani Ellis. Yes, and they're very magical too. The plaintiff Emani Ellis was working on medical building in Beverly Hills in February 2018 when Cardi B was there for an OB-GYN appointment. Elias, Elias, who's unaware of the rapper's previously unannounced pregnancy, allegedly said, "Wow, that's Cardi B." Ellis testified that the rapper became hostile and confronted her, accusing her of telling people and taking pictures. Ellis claims that during the argument, Cardi B spat on her and hurled a racial slur and cut her face with a fingernail, which later required plastic surgery. Anna said Cardi B is a civil case female security guard was filming her, and Cardi B scratched her face, which needed plastic surgery, and spat on the guard and body, shamed her with insults. So the guard is suing Cardi B for money. Thank you, Anna. Ellis is suing for assault, battery, intentional infliction, and emotional distress, negligence, and false imprisonment, and seeking monetary damages. Cardi B's defense. Rapper denies touching Ellis and maintains that Ellis was the aggressor. According to Cardi B, the guard was recording her while she was trying to maintain her privacy about the pregnancy. Cardi B's lawyer also highlighted the inconsistencies in Ellis' testimony, including discrepancies between her court statement and initial incident report. The defense maintains that the incident was only a verbal argument. Cardi B and other witnesses have disputed Ellis' claims that Cardi got her fired. The medical building's representative stated that Ellis was fired for violating HIPAA and patent privacy rules. Microphone throwing incident. Oh, hello, Moki. It's great to see you. In July 2025, a Contour Alger filed a civil lawsuit against Cardi B over a 23 incident in Las Vegas. The Contour Alger's claims Jane Doe. The plaintiff, identified as Jane Doe, alleges that Cardi B threw a microphone at her, causing physical pain and emotional distress. The incident happened after Cardi B asked the crowd to splash her with water, and the plaintiff complied. Kay, it's very funny. It's a funny trial. It's the reason why is because it's a funny trial, and it'll make you laugh. The lawsuit also accuses the venue of Drady's Beach Club of negligence. Cardi B's defense. The legal team has dismissed a lawsuit as pitiful attempt financial shakedown, noting that Las Vegas police previously decided to not press charges. In July 23, the rapper was cleared of any criminal charges in the incident. Tasha K. defamation lawsuit already concluded. And for clarity, it's important to distinguish the ongoing civil trials for the separate older case in 22, Cardi B won $4 million defamation lawsuit against gossip blogger Tasha K. Made false claims about the rapper on YouTube, and an appeals court upheld a verdict in 23. I highly doubt that the guard needed plastic surgery, and I'm sure she broke work policy for filming her. Yeah, Moki, she did break policy for filming her. That is very true. And that is something quite fascinating because it is really clear, I think, that the probably wants money and the plastic surgery thing wasn't necessary. And she was on a stand. She was seemed pretty cool. And it does seem like there is a bias again. Like she has like a, for instance, the person in general probably want money or something out of her. I do agree with that. Yeah, there you go. That's what the Cardi B trial was about. And it's been very entertaining, very funny. And she was on the stand today, and she wanted to really get to her point across, and she did. And then they're asking questions like, for instance, like, is her hair real? And she said it was a wig. And it's like, people were like, what kind of question is that? And then asking about her take on it, she's pretty chill. And then there's this fight that occurs. I'll admit my trial experience consists of jury duty over a bar fight, Law and Order SVU, the movie, a Fuchs Goodman, and Judge Wapner. Yeah, you see, Lori, I got into trials in 22 when the Depp trial happened, the Johnny Depp trial. And that's when I started getting involved with it, and then I met the trial chat people. Yeah. So it made chat laugh the whole day. Definitely. I get sick of people filming me. She's going to a doctor's appointment, and she has a right to go about her business without cameras in her face. And Lori said, "Oh, I was mad that Captain Jack got picked on." Oh, yeah, yeah. Shout out to Captain Jack. Yeah. When I read we react to it on the channel, and his texts are very funny. Yeah, me too, Lori. Yes. He was very good with his comebacks and how he handled that trial. Now, this flower that I've seen grow wild around here is called the Latana camara. Is a colorful flowering shrub native to the American tropics and West Indies, known for its ability to thrive in hot, dry conditions. Despite its popular as an ornamental plant, it is considered a noxious invasive species in many parts of the world due to rapid spread and toxicity. Oh, really, Anna? That must have been a really good show. I don't know anything about it. My guys focus on flowers and plants. I'm good with that. Okay, Kay. I'm glad you're enjoying that. We're kind of like going back and forth between trials and the flowers. I have lots of lantana in my yard. It's hardy and can take the desert heat. Oh, you have that? That's beautiful. You have that. Yeah, I have it too. And shout out to Mary Toodles.
Hi, it's time, Hansel. It's 9:09 right now, okay?
I hear you. And also with this flower, the most recognizable feature is its dense, rounded cluster of tiny, tubular flowers, and the colors change as flowers mature, often with multiple colors such as the white, yellow, and orange and red appearing in a single cluster. Leaves. The the dark green olive shaped leaves have rough textured wrinkles in the surface and toothed margin when crushed, and leaves release a strong, unpleasant aroma. Now, personally, I think the leaves smell very good, by the way. That's what I think. Lori says that plant is gorgeous and toxic, like woman SNS. Yeah, there you go. There you go. The stems. The stems are square shaped and sometimes have a tiny prickles. Fruit after flowering and plant produces clusters of round green berries that turn a shiny dark purple to blue and black when mature. Mine are red and black and have red, yellow in the front. Oh, okay, Moki. Understood. Donahue talk show like Geraldo. Okay, thank you, Anna. Thank you. All right. So pros. The drought and heat tolerant thrives in full sun and various soil conditions. Long blooming season produces the vibrant flowers from spring until the first frost. Attracts pollinators, a major draw of butterflies and hummingbirds. Versatile use. The excellent for containers, hanging baskets, and ground cover. Invasive potential. Aggressively outcompetes the native vegetation in warmer climates. Highly toxic. Leaves unripe, berries, and poisonous to livestock, pets, and potentially children if ingested. The allopathic release chemicals and inhibit the growth of surrounding plants. Rapid spread. Can form dense of thickets and difficult to control. Invasive status. Latana camara is a major invasive weed in over 60 countries, particularly the tropical and subtropical regions like Florida and Texas and Hawaii, Australia and India. It spreads quickly through prolific seed production, often dispersed by birds. Avoid planting invasive varieties, especially in warmer climates. Choose sterile cultivators. Do not produce viable seeds such as those in the Bloomify and Leucoceus series. It's another channel, Moki Smoke and Scan, that some of us watch. It does chases and covers riots and things like that. And he also has a cool cat. Hand pull. Some small plants ensure the entire root system is removed and dispose them in the trash, not composite. Okay, and Lori says, sorry, not sorry. Oh. There you go. Hand pull. Small plants ensuring the entire root system is removed and dispose them in trash, not compost. Apply herbicides. For large, dense populations, potentially in combination with mowing or cutting. Yes, Lori, absolutely. Yes. Deadhead. Spent flowers on non sterile plants to prevent seed formation. Medical uses. Fevers, colds, and respiratory ailments. Addressing skin conditions like rashes, leprosy, and scabies, like we were talking yesterday about. Serving as a wound healing agent and astringent. Exhibiting antimicrobial fungicidal properties. Recent animal studies have also shown potential anti-aging and anti-seizure effects. Coca Golf just won't won her match. Oh, Moki, I'm glad to hear about that. Yes. All right. Native Lanata, Lantana species. Check with your local office. Right. Russian sage. Provides similar drought tolerance silver foliage. Liberty, they were Moki was curious with what that channel was called, so I just told her what the channel was about if she was interested. She was wondering what it was. False lingo. Harley lived in Pernals attract pollinizers. Native Coryspices. Spread into beautiful mass yellow flowers. Lori says, I'm making salad from my garden, including natrium leaves, peppery taste, and persiline scullant. That sounds like it's very delicious, Lori. That sounds very delicious. Nasturtium leaves and purslane are both edible plants that are often found in gardens, either intentionally plants as weeds. You forgot about it, yeah. Yeah, it's all, yeah. Both are good sayings. Yes. Flavor uses: the leaves have peppery, slightly sweet flavors similar to watercress and radishes. The entire plant is edible, including flowers and stems, which have flavor, texture, and similar to chives. And salads: young leaves offer peppery kick in salads, often paired with milder greens. In pesto, the leaves can be used in pesto for spicy twist. Nasturtium. Okay, thank you. Nasturtium. Okay, thank you, Lori. As wraps, the large nasturtium leaves can be used to wrap fillings like Greek dolmades. Appearance: the leaves are circular and resembling lily pads or small shields. Naturally value: nasturtium leaves are packed with nutrients including high levels of vitamin A, C, and D, and beta carotene, iron, and magnesium. Weed status: while cherished by many gardeners for bright flowers, edible qualities, nasturtium consists of invasive weed in some regions where they're grown in conditions that are ideal. Anna said, I use Newman's own sesame, ginger, or ranch when I'm being a brat. Well, that's good to know. I've never heard of that before. Yes, that is true, Moki. Okay, and we'll look that up. Newman's own sea sesame ginger dressing is an Asian inspired dressing with a savory and tangy flavor, balancing nutty sesame and spicy ginger. While it has been temporarily or permanently discontinued in some regions due to supply issues, it is still listed and sometimes available in the US. Ranch isn't as healthy. Oh, okay. Very, yeah, Newman's own. I know I buy his dog biscuits. I mean, I should be making my own dressing with olive oil, lime juice, etc. And also You could use sunflower oil for that too. Newman's Own Sesame Ginger Dressing is an Asian inspired dressing with a savory and tangy flavor blanching nuts, sesame, and spicy ginger. While it has been temporary or permanently discontinued in some regions due to supply issues, it is listed at sometimes available in the US. Flavor profile: a bold and balanced taste combining soy sauce, ginger, nutty sesame oil, rounded out with a touch of pineapple and lemon juice concentrate. Best uses: it works well as a salad dressing for slaws or Asian inspired salads. It can also be used as a marinade for the proteins like chicken, salmon, or shrimp. Key ingredients: distilled vinegar, water, soy sauce, ginger, sesame oil, and pineapple juice concentrate. Nutrition information: 2 tablespoon serving contains around 35 grams of total fat and 290 mg of sodium. When we buy Newman's own product, part of the proceeds go to charities. Well, I'm very glad to hear about that. It's very important. The ability off this dressing can vary depending on your location and store. U.S. availability: the dressing remains listed on Newman's website and is sold through various retailers. Through some shoppers have reported difficulty finding it online. Sellers sometimes offer multi packs. Internal status: in countries like New Zealand, the dressing was temporarily removed from stores due to supply chains issues during the pandemic. Discontinued varieties: there was a low fat version. The dressing may have been discontinued, which could be a source of some confusion. Bluebell ice cream and Walmart shrimp on recall. Oh, okay. Thank you for the information. From Newman's website, major retailers, online marketplace, and store pickup. Ben and Jerry's ice cream's good. Okay, and doing here we have this Bluebell ice cream recall. Several product recalls have been issued in recent for both Bluebell ice cream and frozen shrimp sold at Walmart. Scared. Several product recalls have been issued recently for both Bluebell ice cream and frozen shrimp sold at Walmart. On August 22, 2025, Bluebell Creamer Creameries issued a voluntary recall of a limited quantity of Moo Lemnion Crunch and ice cream. The reason: the ice cream was mistakenly packaged in half a gallon cartons labeled as chocolate chip cookie dough. Baskin Robbins, yes. Facts. Oh, that's very good, Anna. It's very delicious. Reason: the ice cream was mistakenly packaged in cartons labeled as chocolate chip cookie dough. The risk: the mislabeled product contains undeclared almonds, walnuts, and pecans, which are not listed on the chocolate chip cookie dough carton. This poses a risk for serious or life threatening allergic reactions for people with nut allergies. Mint chocolate chip and peanut butter chocolate are my two favorites. Moki, I love mint chocolate chip. That's what a chowder likes to eat, and it became my favorite too. When I was coming up, I would go eat it at my grandma's house. How to identify the affected half-gallon cartons of Moo Lemon Crunch have code of 0610 2752, no, 0610 27524 on the lid. Distribution. The recall ice cream was distributed to retailers in the states. What to do if you have product not consumed. Bluebell's recalled before. If somebody's getting fired, yeah. And now we're gonna get the ice cream. Scared. Also, pink ice cream's nice because it reminds you of like classic cartoons and SpongeBob. Multiple recalls have been issued for frozen shrimp products sold in Walmart due to possible contamination with cesium 137, a radioactive isotope. Interesting. Strawberry cheesecake, I have no shame. Yeah. Behave. Beaver Street Fisheries. Yes. Scared. Ice cream. The reason the company recalled Great Value brand frozen raw shrimp products as a precautionary measure due to its potential contamination with cesium 137. Recalled products Great Value frozen raw shrimp, easy peel, and deviled tail per pound with lot codes and distribution. Distribution sold at Walmart stores in 13 states, July 28 to August 7, 2025. What to do? FDA advises against eating or serving recalled products. You should throw them away or return them for a refund. A Timu Sheen refund. The reason the company also recalled several brands from frozen shrimp due to potential radiation contamination after some shipments were detected in U.S. ports. The recall involves. I said beavers. Yeah. Yeah, the king of the beavers. Yeah. Recalled products. The recall involves products sold under the multiple brands including Great Value, Arctic Shores, Sandbars, Best Yet, and Fish Street. The Great American. For specific lot for information, see the FDA advisory. Distribution. The products were sold to retailers and wholesalers in 9 states between July 17 and August 8, 25. It's recommended to discard these things, these types of food. It's crazy that shrimp has radiation in it. That's crazy. Exposure to the radiation is nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, headache, larger appetite, fatigue, fever, bleeding, skin bruises, sores, and blisters. And it's crazy to have radiation in them. Let's see. Cesium, right? Cesium 317. I was being dyslexic actually. It's 137. How shrimp get. Ah, okay. It must be the beaver. Lori. Scared. Shout out to Oregon State University. It's cool. There are primarily ways recalled shrimp could have been contaminated with cesium 137. Environmental contamination or cross contamination during processing and shipping. Investing in. Ah, I got it right, Lori. Right. Yeah. Currently investigating Indonesian supplier PT Baria to determine the root cause. Shipping containers may have been used to transport other goods and materials contaminated with cesium 137, such as industrial equipment. Negligent handling. Industrial corner cutting, maybe cheap shipping companies, could lead to reuse of contaminators without proper cleaning, potentially transferring radioactive particles to shrimp. The presence of cesium 137 environment is result of nuclear accidents and weapons testing through levels by location. Bioaccumulation. Cesium 137 is water radiation behaves similarly to potassium, allowing them to be absorbed by marine organisms. It can be accumulated in the food chain through as a much lower levels than toxic metals like mercury. Fukushima disaster. Cesium 137 was released into the Pacific Ocean following the 2011 Fukushima Daiichi nuclear disaster. The isotope was subsequently transported via ocean current, has been attached to marine life. So that is why it it is the way it is with the radiation. That threw me off. Right. Okay. Watch a little bit of the Depp trial, and it'll be it. All right. And there's going to probably be some ads that'll pop up because it's how that's how I have it. I mean, it's how it is for the moment. Okay. Okay.
Scaramanga Brothers, yes. Pirate of the Caribbean, 4 and 5, yes.
What is this document?
I don't quite know. I'd have to read it to get some understanding of it.
Could we scroll through so Mr. Depp can look at the rest of this document?
Oops. Oh, there it goes. It looks, this appears to me to be some species of contract, no?
Is this a contract that you entered into?
With Disney.
Your Honor, I'd ask that Plaintiff's Exhibit 804 be moved into evidence and published.
Any objection?
I think it's outside the scope of direct or cross-examination.
I'll overrule on that objection.
Okay, and if, I'll reserve other objections to portions of the document, depending on what she's going to ask about. Could be hearsay.
But she's asking to put it all into evidence right now.
Well, then I would object to that at this point.
All right, you want to come forward? Let's see. Okay.
Alice in Wonderland. I'm so pathetic when it comes to knowing what movies I've done. I'm sorry. I just, I don't watch them. I feel better not watching them. I couldn't, I mean, what was the question again?
How many?
I
How
have
many
order in
other
the court, or I will have you removed. Understood? Thank you.
How many other franchise films had you been a part of at the time of this contract?
There was a third. There was Pirates. There was, oh, sorry, with Warner Brothers, Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, and then Crimes of Grindelwald.
And how does the compensation reflected in this contract compare to that, what you receive for the other franchises that you've been a part of?
Objection, Foundation.
He just established that he was a member of other franchise films at this point.
And he hasn't established a foundation that he knows how he was compensated for this.
I'll overrule the objection if you can answer.
I believe the compensation, obviously, all the pay and back end and all those things are negotiated by agents, lawyers, and this was comparatively this is my salary on that film, and other salaries were of a similar status, I suppose.
If I could direct your attention to the 12th page of the document.
Yes. Oh,
Is this your signature, Mr. Depp?
yes, it is.
Okay. You can take this down, thank you. Mr. Depp, I recall that you testified that you don't know during a given period what movies you were working on. So my question is, who would know that?
Well, first and foremost, is my agent, or agents. I do recall a couple of the other films that I'd made after. One was initially called Richard Says Goodbye, and that was, they changed the name to The Professor, and during all of the nastiness over the past 6 years, that film went straight to pay-per-view. There was another film called Minamata that was produced. It was my company, Infinitum Nile. We had developed a film called Minamata about Eugene Smith, and the Minamata, the mercury poisoning of a very small fishing village in southern Japan. There was that one, and then there was a film called Waiting for the Barbarians with Mark Rylance and Robert Pattinson. Those were 3 films that I'd done.
Mr. Depp, during your cross-examination, Mr. Rottenborn showed you a number of text messages between you and Paul Bettany. Do you remember that?
I do.
Could you please explain to the jury what your relationship with Mr. Bettany is?
Mr. Bettany and I had...
Hancock Whitney has just made being in business so much.
Well, was making a film called The Tourist in Venice, and we were, it was an instant connection. He's born and bred in the UK and has that English sort of dry, kind of obtuse, abstract sense of humor, and that was one of the things that we connected on. Is taking, even if it was a difficult or unpleasant situation, we would, do our best to deal with it with humor, as opposed to just a constant complaint or whining or anything of that nature. We dealt with it with humor, albeit sometimes as these are private texts that have been, there was a lot of in context. It's important to know that none of it was ever intended to be real, and the language that's used, which I am ashamed that that has to be spread on the world like peanut butter. For example, the text that is about burning Ms. Heard it's directly from Monty Python, in the sketch about burning witches, and then drowning the witches. This is a film that we'd all watched when we were 10, and it's just irreverent and abstract humor. That's what we were referring to in those texts.
The text message that you just referenced, other than Mr. Bettany, who else saw that text message at the time that it was sent?
No one. Of course not.
Based on your own observations, how would you describe Mr. Bettany's relationship with Miss Heard while you and Miss Heard were together?
Abominable.
Why was that?
Ms. Heard despised Mr. Bettany mainly because we had become such close friends, and for her he was a threat, and would take me away from her with regard to if Paul Bettany was getting the attention from me. That was a showstopper. It would cause all kinds of unpleasantries, to the point of where when we were on the island with Mr. Bettany, his wife, and his 4 children, Ms. Heard and Mr. Bettany got into some debate over lunch, and I just remember that whenever Mr. Bettany tried to make a point, she would talk over him, and then it started to get quite rude. She got mean, and she got loud, and then I believe it was his 18-year-old boy who was getting ready to go to a really very bright, brilliant kid. He entered the conversation because this was something to do with what he'd studied in school, and he knew quite a lot about it, and he voiced his opinion, and Ms. Heard demeaned that young man to the point of where he burst into tears and walked away. And it was at that point that I had spoken to Ms. Heard and said, that's just unacceptable. That behavior is unacceptable. You have no right to demean that boy. You cannot always be right. You should try being wrong sometime, because you might learn something. And then I asked her to, I thought it was best that she leave the island.
Could we please pull up Defendant's Exhibit 245? And Mr. Depp, I believe this is another text message with Mr. Bettany that you were shown on your cross-examination. And directing your attention to the text message at the top of the page from May 30th, 2014. Do you recognize this text message you sent to Paul Bettany?
Yes, I do.
And could you please describe to the jury what you are conveying to Mr. Bettany in this message?
This again this is I suppose an example of the way that I write and express myself. That is to say, you stretch your situation out to give him the understanding that you're drowning, essentially. So everything that I say here is, in fact, an impossibility for the human body. I would have been, well, I would have certainly at least had to be rushed to the hospital for a stomach pump. There's a line here that, if you don't mind, I say that when I say I'm done, I am admittedly too fucked in the head to spray my rage at the one I love, for little reason as well. I'm too old to be that guy, but pills are fine. The pills that were referenced were the pills that I that I was coming off of, and
You know your business better than anyone, right? So why not build an app to...
They were the only thing that could give me some semblance of the same numbing effect that I searched for as a child with my mother. And saying that I was too messed up in the head was, it's kind of like if you've been told since you were a child that everything you do is wrong, and that I shouldn't have even been alive, or whatever, joyous little treats that my then very sick, very ill mother brought to me. Ms. Heard was well aware of my past, my childhood, therefore was very adept at knowing exactly which buttons to push. So at this point, I felt like, well, I was that little boy again in my head, like, I guess I am incapable of doing anything right. I guess I will never be happy. I guess that this is who I am. I can't get along with this person. But it's confusion, you know. It's nothing that you can. It's nothing that anyone could sustain for any length of time. It's nothing that anyone should have to sustain for any length of time when you're being demeaned, berated, judged, and treated like a lesser animal, and treated as if I'm only surrounded by yes men, and that I'm a bad father, and that these things were endless. They were endless, and there was no call for them. It's hard to understand why someone that is supposed to love you could be that cruel. And there's also times where you just say, okay, I'm gonna try to not have I won't fall for the argument. I won't participate in the argument. Because I knew where it would go, into her circular pattern of psychological abuse.
Mr. Depp, what do you mean when you use the term blackout in this text message?
Blackout. Yes, because I'm talking about 1,000 Red Bulls and vodkas, 1,000 of them, 2 bottles of champagne, no food for days, half a bottle of whiskey, those things, had that been all absolutely true, would have not only caused a blackout, but it would have caused a severe alcohol poisoning, overdose. I would have had to have gone immediately. If that were true, I would have had to have been taken to a hospital, or I'd just die. So, no, blackout is when someone gets so drunk on alcohol, essentially on alcohol. But the pills that I had my addiction, that I was addicted to, the roxycodone, which are very, very powerful opiates. Two of those.
There under the pecan tree.
Would knock me out. That is to say, so there's blackout, which is, you can be, a person could be wide awake and wreaking havoc, or having a giggle in a blackout and never remember it. But when you are, when you've taken the prescription medication, it knocks you out. You are certainly not, well, you're not in any condition to, first of all, swing at anyone. You are out. You go on what's called the nod, and then it takes you away into sleep. It's just very deep sleep. And I found that much more accepting than having to hear constant badgering and insults.
Mr. Depp, I'd like to show you Defendant's Exhibit 153, which I believe Mr. Rottenborn also showed you last week.
Yes.
Do you remember seeing this during Mr. Rottenborn's examination of you last week?
Yeah, yes, I do.
Okay. Now, I'd like to show you the full text exchange, which is in Plaintiff's Exhibit 120. And since there's been a number of text messages drawn from this document, this would be Plaintiff's Exhibit 120C.
Which page would that be, or underscore?
This would be 4 and 5, Your Honor.
4 and 5, thank you.
Mr. Depp, do you recognize these text messages?
Yes, I do.
Your Honor, I'd move Plaintiff's 120C into evidence and ask that it be published to the jury.
All right, 120C in evidence, publish.
Mr. Depp, who are you communicating with in these text messages?
In fact, though it says Marino, these are texts between my ex, that is to say, the Vanessa Paradis, the mother of my children. And this is again, abstract humor that we're conveying back and forth to one another. This was all, it was a joke. It certainly wasn't about Miss Heard. We didn't speak of her much together.
Do you recall what you were talking about?
I don't recall who it was. I don't recall who it was, but it was someone who had, for some reason, I think it was. I think that the possibility is that 2013. It might have been, we had a nanny at one point, who we found her, she was caught stealing even from my, at the time, my, maybe 10, 11-year-old boy, Jack, who was bright enough, because he knew it. He was bright enough. He had a $5 bill that he wadded up and put on his desk in his bedroom. And when he came home from school...
Your Honor, I'm just going to object on relevance. The question was, who was this about?
Yeah, we can move on.
Okay.
Mr. Depp, I'd also like to show you Defendant's Exhibit 143, which I believe Mr. Rottenborn also showed you last week. Do you remember seeing this email exchange? You could scroll down as well, please. Thank you.
Oh, yes.
Who are you exchanging these emails with?
Stephen Duders, who was at the time was my assistant.
And what are you and Mr. Duders discussing here?
Gobbledygook, essentially. It was as I remember, it was a day of work, and there were times when I would send a text to Mr. Duders, because he's the worrisome type. I would send him a text in jest, of course, and to get a rise out of him, to get some reaction out of him. So, I would tell him things like, I woke up and I'm bleeding profusely from the inside of my ear. Is that normal? It would be things like that. So this is exactly the same kind of thing. I think we were even referencing The Hangover, the film The Hangover, in part of this, about the Mike Tyson and sort of bizarre circus that I was telling him that I had in my room, and that there was blood everywhere. It was a joke to just sort of throw him off, worry him, and ultimately it was a joke, and we were laughing about it.
Mr. Depp, what if any portion of this email exchange is literally true?
We're all set to leave here at approximately 1:30 p.m. Hope you rested well.
Mr. Depp, I'd like to talk to you about some text messages that Mr. Rottenborn showed you where you refer to the monster, and this is in the context of in conversations that don't include Ms. Heard. Do you remember seeing some of those communications?
Yes.
Okay. First, I'd like to show you Defendant's Exhibit 427, please, which is a text message from you to Jerry Judge. How are you using the term monster in this context when you're communicating with Mr. Judge?
The monster.
Connect with a financial advisor.
It could be two separate things. The monster in her eyes was my
Objection as to what the monster was in Ms. Heard's eyes, Your Honor.
All right. I'll sustain as to her eyes if you want to
Okay.
rephrase.
the monster was defined by Ms. Heard as this out of control
Same objection,
thing.
Your Honor. What Ms. Heard's view of the monster was is not for this witness to say.
Mr. Depp, how do you know how Ms. Heard defined the word monster?
She said the words to me.
Okay. And what words did she say with respect to the term monster?
It was her go-to phrase, and it was the go-to phrase for me being, again, as has been embellished and elaborated, the drug use or the drink or the whatever, but the monster was, for me, and again, you start to think about these things and you put it in your own head, in what the real context is. The monster was sobriety. The monster was trying to be sober because I was plagued by these requests to stop drinking. But the monster could also be if a conversation, if something starts as a conversation, which would quickly ramp up to quite an antagonizing argument, if I responded to her, if I took part in the verbal back and forth where people do in life end up saying obscenities, screaming obscenities at one another, or calling them names, or when it gets to that point, I mean, the monster was just for me was just the guy who actually was dumb enough to continue to take part in arguments that would ultimately get nowhere. So that is one of the reasons why I would try to get away from Ms. Heard and not participate in her debates and the knowledge that she wanted to express to me, and circular and painful insults that were just constant. It was rapid fire. So I stopped participating in those. I tried to walk away. I tried to go to another room, even to the point of locking myself in rooms so that she just could pound on the door and scream. That was clearly a mistake. I should have never fallen for that or taken the bait to allow myself to get into a conversation which led to an argument, which led to physical violence. It was not going to be good, so I just walk away, which drove her through the roof.
So, Mr. Depp, why would you use the term monster when communicating with people other than Ms. Heard?
Well, because I heard it all the time. I mean, it was, as I said, that was her go-to. The monster's here, the monster's back, monster. So I would refer to the monster again in terms of with Elton or with friends Patti Smith. The monster was like with Elton. I think it was just the monster was I let the monster creep back in or something. That is sobriety. That's what I'm telling him is I have failed, and I've had a drink, or I've been drinking. But my drinking again was not to excess. I would never went into blackouts or anything of that nature. I was disappointed in myself for not staying there. Although when you are constantly in a position to be harassed by your beloved other, what else could I do? I wanted to be numb. I didn't want to hear that. I didn't want to feel that, especially from one who had professed such love for me, but gave me mostly hatred.
Your Honor, I'm about to switch subjects, so if this would be a good time for the lunch break.
All right. We started a little later, so I don't mind going a little further.
Okay.
If you want to do that, go ahead.
Mr. Depp, I'd like to show you Defendant's Exhibit 161. I believe Mr. Rottenborn showed you this last week and again today.
Yes.
Do you recognize these text messages as between you and Ms. Heard?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
Why are you informing Ms. Heard that there's a book called Disco Bloodbath?
When I texted her, 2:30 in the afternoon, I was in a bookstore, a used bookstore, or a bookstore that had a lot of first editions and things like that, which was sort of a passion. And I saw a book called Disco Bloodbath, and I thought it was a funny title. I can't say that I was necessarily referencing anything other than I thought it was a funny title, Disco Bloodbath. It sounded like a sort of a bad slasher movie to me. So I said, just thought you should know that there exists a book titled Disco Bloodbath. That's all. And then she said, we need that book. And then she asked me, is it about last Friday night by any chance? And then my answer to her, how can you make me smile about such a hideous moment? The fact is, this is a light-hearted exchange that she's even saying, we need that book. Then she makes a reference to last Friday night, which I don't recall what last Friday night was or whatever, so I just how can you make me smile about such a hideous moment? A hideous moment could have been some grotesque thing that we saw on television. It could have been anything. I don't recall now, but all I was saying is, and it even says at the end of my text, that's all. Disco Bloodbath, you know. So this was not we were not butting heads in this exchange whatsoever. It was very lighthearted.
Mr. Depp, I'd like to show you Defendant's Exhibit 375, which is another document Mr. Rottenborn showed you last week.
Yes.
Could you please remind the jury what's reflected in this photograph? This is from Australia. On March 8th, I believe it was, where after my finger had been, the tip of my finger had been taken off, I began to, I was in such shock, I just started writing on the mirror, on walls, and basically what these were for me, to Ms. Heard, were reminders of moments in our past where I had caught her, where it was revealed to me, even by her, that she had been caught in lies that she had told me. So that's what these are in reference to. The red, the lipstick that says, call Carly Simon, call Carly Simon, she said it better, babe. In reference to You're So Vain, I am imagining. But that's not, I didn't, the Carly Simon message is not mine, that's Miss Heard's. So let's just break this down a little bit. Who wrote the text that's in black on the mirror?
That would be me.
And what does that say?
She loves, I don't know, like Naked Hollywood or something. An artist of, I don't know what the rest says, but what that is Ms. Heard had come to me and she was seemed to be seriously concerned about how she was being portrayed in Hollywood. She was concerned that because she had done films where there was kind of arbitrary nudity and things of that nature, she had voiced to me that she did not want to be, she didn't want to be looked upon that way in the industry. She wanted to be able to escape the chains of being objectified by the Hollywood system, which is a difficult thing for any woman, certainly, unfortunately. But she asked me, how can I avoid being stereotyped as the beautiful blonde who gets her breasts out or goes naked and has to shtuck people in movies? And I gave her my advice on it, on how to avoid it, which I thought was pretty accurate, and her ambition was stronger than what she received from my advice, is what it was. My advice that I thought long and hard about, because I did care for her and I did understand. I didn't want her to have to do that. And early on in my career, I was put in a position where, you know, I could have gone on, I could have been just a guy who was on a TV series for a couple of years, and then, you know, what was going to be left of me was would be on lunchboxes and thermoses and posters and teen idol things, and I fought that tooth and nail because that's not who I was. So I had experienced something similar in terms of being looked upon as something that you're not, and so I fought against it in the very beginning, and it worked out for me for a while there, and I was giving her basically the same advice.
Now, Mr. Depp, you said that you did not write this portion that's in red here that says Carly Simon said it. Call Carly Simon, she said it better, babe. Is that right?
Yes, no, that's not mine.
How do you know that it was Miss Heard that wrote that?
Objection, lack of foundation.
Overruled, Al. You can answer it.
There are, first it looks like it's trying to match my handwriting, but my handwriting is a lot more of a scribble. And also there's another photograph of this where she went in to make sure that there were, that the red was more prominent. I believe there's also a napkin down there where
Objection, Your Honor,
someone...
lack of foundation. He's referring to exhibits that aren't in evidence, and
All right,
I have no idea whether they even exist.
I'll sustain the objection now. Next question.
Do you recall whether the lipstick writing was on the mirror when you wrote in the black paint?
No, of course not. No.
If you want to build an app and have no idea how to code or where
Mr. Depp, I'd like to show you one of the text messages that Mr. Rottenborn showed you concerning the injury to your finger. So if we could please pull up Defendant's Exhibit 398. This is a text message from you to Dr. Kipper that I believe Mr. Rottenborn showed you on cross-examination. Do you remember that?
Yes.
Okay. And why are you apologizing to Dr. Kipper in this message?
believe that at that point in my brain and in my life and in my heart, I was completely and utterly frustrated with how I was living my life, and I had some disagreement with Dr. Kipper, and I was apologizing to him for having gone against his wishes, or gone against his advice, let's say.
What did you mean when you said, I have chopped off my left middle finger as a reminder that I should never cut my right finger off again?
It's my way of dealing with a painful situation. It's my way of dealing with a painful situation where I resort to humor. So I had lost the tip of my right finger, and so I'm saying to him, I've now cut off my left finger to remind me never to cut my right finger off again. That's not, I mean, when you say I got my finger cut off, or I cut my finger off, or this or that, it doesn't necessarily mean that you did it yourself. And again, I'm a guitarist and have been since I was 12, and that was the only piece that I found in my life at the age of 12 where I knew I knew who I could escape into music and learn music. And the last thing, I still play the guitar it's still my first love, aside from my children. It's still my first love. There's no reason in the world why I literally would cut my own finger off to ruin this beautiful opportunity that I was given at 12 to learn how to play the guitar. Again, why would I start lopping off digits in my 50s if I as Mr. Rottenborn suggests, am a kind of, walking tantrum? When I was younger, why wouldn't I just start chopping off fingers or some kind of, why would I ruin the only thing that was really good in my life aside from my children? So when this finger went, the tip of this finger went, the only thing I could think in my mind was, thank God it wasn't the left hand, which is the fret hand. I'm right-handed, so that's the fret. That's where the fretboard is. If you lose a finger from your left hand, I'm not Django Reinhardt, who had only 2 fingers to play with. If I'd have lost a finger from here, I would have had to relearn how to play the guitar all over again. It's just not the case. Even though I say I've chopped my finger off, it's like saying, I bumped into a knife or something. It's not. I'm not admitting to. I think if I was going to admit to someone that actually chopped my finger off, this text wouldn't be as it is. I think it would have been a long explanation as to why I got to that point. But no, I can't take responsibility for what I now call Little Richard, my chopped finger.
Mr. Depp, at the time that you sent this text message to Dr. Kipper, had you told him what had actually happened to your right finger?
Oh yes, yeah.
And when did you tell him that?
He was aware of that day, the day that it happened. Malcolm was aware of it. Jerry was aware of it. Stephen was. Everyone was aware of it. And of course, yes, when I went to the doctor, the emergency room, I lied to them because I didn't think it wise to cause a ruckus, implicate Miss Heard, and then have 8 million stories out in the press about how she'd thrown a bottle of vodka at me and it smashed all the bones in the tip of my finger and cut off about, well, it was all sliced down through. You've seen the pictures. It was pretty horrible. It was, and I didn't want to put her in that situation. I didn't want to put any of us in that situation. I didn't want to put the film in that situation. That was why I said it was crushed in an accordion door, and it was only the second doctor who actually told me what he was.
Your Honor, hearsay.
I haven't finished my sentence. How do you know?
I'll overrule for the moment. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Should I? Thank you. It was the emergency room doctor was first. The next day I went to see a specialist, a hand surgeon, and this was still in Australia. And he had recognized that my excuse for the finger being gone.
Objection, Your Honor. Hearsay. What the doctor conveyed to him about his thoughts on the finger injury. That's classic hearsay.
Your Honor, it's in the context of medical treatment.
No, I'll sustain that objection.
Your Honor, I think this is a good stopping point.
All right.
Yes.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we'll go ahead and take our hour lunch recess. Again, do not do any outside discussions, and don't talk to each other about it.
Didn't you?
7A, as redacted, will be in evidence.
Thank you, Your Honor. And in this text, Mr. Depp, you said, she's begging for total global humiliation. She's going to get it. I'm going to need your texts about San Francisco, brother. I'm even sorry to ask, but she sucked Mollusk's crooked dick and he gave her some shitty lawyers. I have no mercy, no fear, and not an ounce of emotion, or what I once thought was love for this gold-digging, low-level, dime-a-dozen, mushy, pointless, dangling, overused, flappy fish market. I'm so fucking happy she wants to go to fight this out. She will hit the wall hard, and I cannot wait to have this waste of a cum guzzler out of my life. I met a fucking sublime little Russian here, which made me realize the time I blew on that 50-cent stripper. I wouldn't touch her with a goddamn glove. I can only hope that karma kicks in and takes the gift of breath from her. Sorry, man, but now I will stop at nothing. Let's see if Mollusk has a pair. Come see me face to face. I'll show him things he's never seen before, like the other side of his dick when I slice it off. Did I read that right?
You did.
Now, not long after this, You can take that down, Michelle. Thank you. Not long after this, you met Mr. Waldman in the late summer or fall of 2016, correct?
I believe, yeah, September, October, somewhere in there, whatever.
And he's been your attorney since then, correct?
Yes, sir.
And you met with him with the Daily Mail in London in February 2020, didn't you?
I'm sorry, again?
You and Mr. Waldman together met with the Daily Mail in London in February 2020, didn't you?
Are you asking me a question about my attorney and I?
Yeah, that you two met with people from the Daily Mail in London in February 2020.
Was that during the London trial?
No.
No?
No, in February.
I don't recall it, though.
Okay.
I don't.
To the extent Mr. Waldman testified that you did, you don't dispute that, correct?
I just don't recall it.
Okay. You don't disagree with Mr. Waldman's testimony that you and he met with people from the Daily Mail in London in February 2020, correct?
If that's Mr. Waldman's testimony, then...
Okay.
But I just didn't necessarily know who these people were.
Right.
I guess.
The same month that the Daily Mail released alleged tapes between you and Amber.
Objection
Correct.
calls for speculation, lack of personal knowledge.
Alleged.
I'll sustain the objection. Next question.
All right, everybody. So we have finished a stream for tonight. I was showing you all that funny scene from the Depp trial that I react to quite frequently, and I showed you all another part that we haven't seen yet. So we had a very good stream tonight. Good conversations about different things. Good audience, and I want to thank you all for coming. And I'll see some of y'all over at SNS in a little bit. And thank you all so much for coming and watching, and peace. It's gonna work. No, it worked.